Okay, welcome back, students. So we're looking at the 2024 paper question 7 higher level junior cert maths. Okay, so here's the question. I'm just going to drop the marking scheme for questions A and B down here, and we'll get to work on the left hand side. So we'll read for understanding two rectangular solids. Okay, both a cube on the left A and a cuboid B are shown in the diagram, and they're not drawn to scale, so we can't use measurement. The edges of cube A have length x centimeters, where x is a real number, and cuboid B has dimensions 5, 6 and y, where again we're only told that all those values are real, so they're decimals in other words. So we're told now that the volume of A is 216 centimeters cubed. Find the value of A. Okay, so the way we do this is we write down a formula for the volume, which is x cubed, and so we know now that x cubed equals 216. Now we need to use algebra to find x. So we need the inverse operation of cube, which is the cubed root function. So that means that x is equal to the cubed root of 216, which we're going to put into our calculator and get 6. Okay, where that is in the older calculator is here behind the square root button, and on the newer calculator we're going to have to do a little bit more work. We're going to have it here behind the square root button again. However, when we look at it, we see that there are two entries. There's the order entry and then there's the number entry. But what you can do is you can push the order beforehand and then shift your way into it and then push 216. Okay, so we get 6 centimeters for the value of x. Now they will not require that because they've already said it's centimeters cubed, so quite often they don't require the unit, but you should never assume. Accept correct answer without supporting work. Okay, so 6 centimeters. Show that the surface area is 22y plus 60 of the cuboid B. Okay, so I'm just going to write down in order the dimensions of y, 6 and 5, and I'm going to use my knowledge, your knowledge of surface area, to say there's twice each face, so double the face 6y, those two multiplied together, plus 6 5s is 30, and plus 5y. Okay, so this expression will simplify to double grouping the y's together, 11y plus 30, and now distributing the multiplication we get 22y plus 60, which we've been told is true, so that's true. Now we're told, we're given a further problem. We're told that this surface area is equal to 269 and we have to work out the value of y. So let's sub in the expression that we know to be true for the surface area, and then we'll set that equal to 269 because we're told that they're equal. Okay, so we're going to solve this linear equation. This one, there's powers of y, but not squares or square roots or anything, so it's a linear. So our strategy is to isolate y. Let's do that by subtracting 60 from both sides. Okay, so we will transcribe the 60 across. Transpose, 60 across. So we take 60 from both sides. 22y is equal to 269 minus 60. 22y is equal to 209. Okay, we still haven't isolated y, but now we have y down to a single term, and that term is a product, so we're going to take the 22 and we're going to do the inverse operation of multiplication, which is division. And that's your answer. You can evaluate it further by putting it in the calculator, but you'll get full marks for this. Okay. Now 2 and 9 is 11, so I know 11 goes into that, so we're going to end up with a 0.5. But let's have a look. And no point in equals, because it'll only tell me what I already know. Shift equals 9.5. Great. We move on to the next bit. Okay, so let's read this for understanding. This was a challenging question, no doubt. So we have that the area of 3 faces of a different cuboid are shown, not the scale. The dimensions of this cuboid are L, M, and P, where L, M, and P are whole numbers. That will be quite handy if we use certain methods of number theory. Work out the volume of the cuboid. Give your answer in centimeters cubed. Okay, so we're really in the thick of problem solving here. There's no direct solution obvious. We do know if we could get L, M, and P, we could get the volume. That's one method approach. And to do that, we might look at number theory and what we call highest common factor. So what factor, say the 48 is made up out of M and P. So you could do trial and error on them and say, well, maybe it's 4 and 12, and you wouldn't be long getting there that way. You could take a more systematic approach. So basically what we can look over here is they took that approach in method 1. Okay, they looked at possibilities and they did trial and error and they came up with 4, 12, and 8 quite quickly. Another method is more algebraic, and it's technically speaking simultaneous equations, just that they're not linear. Okay, but by far the most elegant method, and the one I'm going to highlight here, is the lower of the 3 methods. Okay, it's thinking outside the box perhaps, but it is by far the best. So when it comes to the faces, we have an LM face, okay, we have an MP face, and we have an LP face. Now if we spot, and this is problem solving at its best, it's exploring, but if you notice, if you multiply all them together, each side will be represented twice. So if you multiply them together, you'll notice that you get L squared, M squared, P squared. And then the next thing is to realize, but sure, that's just the square of our answer. Okay, that's just equal to LMP all to be squared. And so the most beautiful thing about it is all we have to do is take the square root to undo this, to take the square root of the 3 numbers as a product. And that's it. Okay, and then it did not have to be whole numbers. We would have been able to work it out even if they'd used rational or even irrational numbers, like having square roots in 2 of them. Okay, we put that in our calculator. And do shift equals, do I need to do shift equals? Probably not, because it's going to be a whole number, equals 384. Okay, meters cubed. Centimeters cubed, I'm just reading here, they're in centimeters. Okay, so by all means you can use any of these 3 methods, but the third method is the one we favored today. Okay guys, see you in the next one. Or have I got more work to do? I don't think I do. No, that's it. Going on to question 8 next. See you in the next one.